I'm not here. Yeah.
I thought you said at this point in his life, he is where he is.
Oh, no.
So I was like, yeah, all right, bro. Like, I'm out with it.
It's you, my nigga. Come on. It's you, my nigga. No, but bro, your performance, man. Like I even have it written down here, bro. Like opened up with Bill Withers, which was fire, and then like your original songs, bro. Like that shit, like incredible, man. It took over the room, man. But shit, we comfy. I'm already I love this. I love this energy. Yeah, no, wait, no, here. Let me check it for you here. Hope. I think you might have muted it. No, you're good. There you go. Yeah. Now you're all good. Yeah, just speaking to the mics.
Mic check. 1 2 1 2 1 2.
All right, man.
Yeah.
I'm really excited, but let's hone it in. Let's channel it in. Oh nah, bro, nah. Just
like this?
yeah, no, you can do it. Just feel comfortable. Look at the camera. Do whatever you want to do. But MIC podcast, episode 67, man. Community content. You get that all here. And I mean, the energy off top is incredible. I told y'all, we have a very special dude coming in for this episode. We got my man Kenny Stockard in the building, man. Kenny.
Yo.
Yes, sir, bro. Thank you
freestyle.
so.
I feel like I want to rap.
Bro, do what you need to do, man. Intro how you want the intro, bro. Do the
Mic check. 1 2 1 2.
Come on.
Interview with the crew on the 3rd floor is what we do.
Okay, yeah.
Bro,
I love it. That might have been our first freestyle intro,
Mike
man.
soft drop.
Bro, that one, bro. Kenny, thank you so much for coming through, man. I'm really excited to chop it up with you, man, because you're a really well-traveled dude. It seems like it just seems like you have a story to tell, something to get off your chest, man, and like just a real soulful dude, man. So like I'm really excited to chop it up with you here, man. But what's up with you, bro? How's your Thanksgiving and shit?
Incredible. I ain't have to do nothing.
Yeah?
Yeah, my friend's mom came over, and literally the only work we had to do was go to the car to grab all the food.
There you go.
She didn't even make it at the house. So
there
it wasn't
you
no
go.
dishes. It wasn't no clutter. She made everything. And
Incredible
she was like,
setup.
boy, grab them greens out the front seat. And I was like, yes,
that.
ma'am.
Yeah, no,
yes,
yeah,
ma'am.
I can do
yes,
that.
Ma'am. I was like, you need anything else? You want a beverage? You know, like checking on her.
Facts.
But we just ate, man, like hung with his, because my family is back in St. Louis.
Right.
So it was a Thanksgiving away from family. And every year I got to kind of make the trade-off between Christmas and Thanksgiving. So this year I go home for Christmas.
Okay.
But yeah, it was nice, man. It's just like, it's black people know how to get along.
Absolutely,
with anybody.
bro.
Like
jovial.
His mama was like, that was my mama in that moment.
Right.
Like she took me in, and his sisters and his brothers, that's my family, man.
Yeah.
So it was like nice to just have that time and not have to, pay for a ticket to go home.
Facts.
But at the same time, knowing that you got family anywhere.
Right.
Wherever your heart is, that's where your home is.
Right.
But yeah.
Nah, man. I mean, like I definitely felt that. Like I spent Thanksgiving just away from family too. So like it was like my first year because my family's back in Maryland. So yeah, so like I was pretty much staying here, just pretty much getting ready for today, pretty much just making everything making sure everything was cool, man. But just for people who may not know, like how did this nigga fucking end up on the futon, man? Like we actually met at the open mic, right? Like maybe like 2 weeks ago. Words and Sounds, and shout to that event, man. Incredible, man. Hosted by Sierra again. That was such a dope vibe and such a dope environment, man. But
shout out to them.
Yeah, no, for sure. So you were pretty much like the headlining performance there, and bro, like again, I have it written down, man. Opened up with Bill Withers' Lovely Day. I'm already vibing off that,
I heard the bass line when you said,
bro, yeah, bro, come on, man, that was vibing. And then, bro, you went into some of your original stuff, and it you really opened up to the room because like it just allowed people to like really get a sense of who you were just as an artist and performer, in my opinion. Or like, do you agree with that?
Oh no, for sure. Like when I'm singing, I'm the most authentic version
for sure.
of
Yeah,
yeah. I'm letting you have exactly what I'm feeling.
Absolutely,
yeah,
man.
No filters.
Nah, and like it really came across that way. So I definitely just like kind of want to scale it back. So just for people who may not know, to see how you got to the point where you're at today. So I know you mentioned St. Louis. Like, what was it like growing up in St. Louis?
Hard. It was tough. Yeah, I mean, I'm 32.
Okay.
And so I left St. Louis after high school in 2008.
Okay.
And it was like, it's a Republican-led
Sure.
state, Missouri is.
Sure.
And there's just a lot of well-organized oppression.
Damn.
And so, oh yeah. So
Damn.
it's like, I felt that as a kid. I didn't know what it was because I had never been in any other environment. So I just knew this was hard, and
Mhm.
it didn't seem like it had to be that hard. And
Mhm.
so I went to school very far away from St. Louis,
Okay.
not because I don't love St. Louis, but because I needed a new experience. And
Where'd you go to school?
Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
got you,
Stillman
okay.
College.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I did that from '08 to 2012.
Okay.
And so it just became this journey. I studied biology in school.
Okay.
And then over time after I graduated, just like it started to unfold. I've always been a singer,
Mhm.
and these opportunities started coming up, and it was like I'm applying for these jobs over here, and I'm candidate, one out of however many, and I'm giving, and I know I'm qualified. I'm giving my best, and I'm still getting no's, or even if they say yes, it's like I got to go through all these questions. And over
Yeah.
here musically, people just coming to me like, "Can you please do this? Can you come perform?" And I'm like, "Here's a way that is plain. Here's a way that is difficult." And then I just was like, I ain't doing the hard thing. I'm doing
Yeah.
the loving thing, and the thing that's in front of me. And that music just started. It just took a whole shift. So I don't even work in what I got my degree for. I just do music.
No facts.
Yeah.
And so, growing up in St. Louis, like I know you were involved in the church, as a child, but like at what point did you start getting involved in that? Like at what point did music kind of like open up for you?
So my family, they are musicians. Like my grandfather was a deacon in the church.
Yep.
And I remember I went to a Baptist church like where the deacons would stand across the front with all microphones, put their hands behind their back and just belt it out and like call and response fashion.
Okay.
So I remember like being in the crowd, and my mom and my aunts and my uncles and my cousins and my grandma and all of my extended family is all in the crowd responding to my grandfather leading in all in harmonies. And it was just like I grew up learning harmonies. Did I?
Oh no!
Oh,
You
Mike,
good? Yeah,
I'm
no, yeah.
I
Got the little
felt
side.
something, yeah.
Yeah, no, you straight.
But like, yeah, I grew up. So I was telling somebody the other day, it's like, I didn't know singing was a gift because everybody did it in my house. Like
Wow,
we
okay.
sing at the dinner table, we sing walking down the hallway, like
Damn.
it was just a thing. And I didn't know until I went to school and started doing it in front of people, and everybody was like, hold up. And I was like, you can't do that? Like I thought everybody could.
Right? Yeah.
And so I'd never viewed it even as a career path, because for me it was like riding a bike. Like you don't pursue
right.
riding a bike; it's just something you enjoy doing, And so it wasn't until I got older that I was like, wait, your passions can be your
Can make a way
focus.
for
It can
you,
be
yeah.
your career.
Yeah.
Like your career doesn't have to be based on what makes money. It can be what fuels your heart. And that wasn't something I knew growing up. But like, so yeah, I've always been a musician. It just happened. Like it was like one of those things where God was like, this is who you already are. This is
Yeah.
who you always been. Like
Yeah.
I never had to go discover it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's crazy. I mean, like that sounds like y'all were like pretty much the Incredibles. So like everyone got powers, and you're like, oh, okay. So like every family probably got superpowers,
Yeah.
and like you get around normal people, it's like, oh, wait, you can't run at the speed of sound. That's pretty wild.
Facts.
Yeah, yeah,
Literally,
yeah.
like
Yeah.
when it comes to singing, like asking like my cousins, like one of them would be good at riffing, and I had the high notes, and it was like we just had different giftings, but everybody could do something vocally or instrumentally. And it's
Yeah.
just like, yeah, it was like it's not a do I have a superpower? It's like, well, how does my superpower work in this family? Because we all got it. You know
right,
what I mean?
okay.
But yeah, that's yeah.
Was there like a little bit of like, I don't know, just like a learning curve, just like trying to like find out what like how you fit in musically with your family, or like did you just like kind of like naturally find your own way?
I would say it was natural, but I could describe it. It was like
Yeah.
in church, my mama would be somebody was singing the melody. My mama would be sitting next to me, and she was alto. She is an alto, and she'll sing that part, and then I would sing the part with her and just learn how the alto part is the best part in a harmony because it's the middle.
Okay.
It's like a part. It's right. It's not the highest. It's not the lowest. So
Yeah.
you have to work really hard to walk that fine line of don't go too high and step on the soprano line. Don't go too low and step on the tenor line. So you have to really understand balance to be in
Right.
the middle.
Huh.
And so like my mom was that. And so I the first thing I learned vocally was how to hold it down. How to ride right in the middle of everything else that's happening around you and find
Yeah.
your place. And then it became she'll be singing something, and then she would be like, now you jump down here and you stay down there. And it's like if I jump on the wrong part, she's like, that ain't right. That
Yeah.
ain't right. But when it was right, she was like, that's it.
Mhm.
And I remember one of my aunties was like, I sang this song called Inside Out. It's my first solo as a
Okay.
kid in church. And I was singing this like, I know I'm a child and I may not know very much, but I know the word of God is true. And if you read the Bible, you will know it without a doubt that when I serve my Jesus, it's from the inside out. And I was singing it all quaint like that. And then my
Yeah.
auntie was like, I'll give you $5 if you sing it for real.
Oh,
And I say, you say $5. And you know, this
As
is the
a
90s.
kid,
This is the 90s. $5
that's like an
get you-
NBA contract.
You can get 2 bags of chips, some candy, and a soda.
Yeah,
you
dead
know,
ass, real
and still
shit.
have some change
Yep,
for,
yep.
for them little bacon beans that
Yep.
come in a little, them Boston baked beans, the little candy ones.
Yo.
But yeah, so she said, sing it for real. And then what I thought in that moment was like, okay, overdo it. Really feel it and don't hold back. And I
Yeah.
thought I was overdoing it. And she was like, no, now that's exactly where you should be singing. And it was like, so it was like, yes, it was natural, but it was also, everybody was coaching me at the same time. Like they wasn't going to let me sing something
What like
bad.
what was I mean like was I mean like because like I know you were young, but like what was like what made you hold back and like not go all out initially? Like do you think you know?
Being afraid, because like, it was one thing to sing at home. It was a different thing to sing at
right.
church.
Yeah, facts.
And when we got to church, everybody's staring at you. At home, we washing dishes, we
Chilling,
woo,
right,
and
yeah.
nobody. You're not the focus. But at church, everybody looking dead at you, and I was like, that's intimidating. And she was basically teaching me. My auntie was teaching me in that moment. She's like, don't ever hold back out of fear. Fear is an obstacle, and you need to step over that.
Right.
Because on the other side of your fear, there you are. There you really are. Like you think you here and you think this is comfortable, but you're not really giving yourself.
Real shit.
And you got to step over that fear, and that's the only way people are going to experience what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because like if you're afraid and you halfway believe it, what make you think it's going to get past the front row in front of you? If you want the people in the back to hear what you're saying, you got to actually believe it.
Yeah,
It's like,
facts.
I want you to hear the words I'm singing, but I also want you to hear the intent behind the words, feel the passion and experience that I'm coming from, and let it relate to whatever is happening in your mind when you listen. Like it's way bigger than singing a song, and they taught me that. So yeah.
I feel that. So in a family of musicians, right? Like were you because like it doesn't really sound like you were encouraged to pursue music.
No.
So, like how
Yes.
is that dichotomy?
Right.
Like
That's the
you,
best word.
Yeah,
Dichotomy.
like
It is
like
dark.
you come from like a family of musicians and like you all share this gift and
Yeah.
it's wild. But then like they're like just like encouraging like, hey, you know, just kind of go the safe route, get a degree, get a job, and you know, just chill. Like
I think it's one of the great misfortunes just of the culture. We, especially poor people, I grew up poor. Poor people are not encouraged to pursue things that you cannot easily see how to quantify. or
Sure,
how to make
yeah,
money,
right.
monetize.
Mhm.
And so I always was gifted. My family was always gifted, but none of my family ever pursued a music career.
wow.
And so because it was this doctrine, it was this what am I trying to say? Like this theory of like, that's who you are, yeah, that's your identity, but that's not gonna take care of you. And it was born more so like the advice I was given wasn't born out of we don't want you to be a singer. It was that they felt afraid that if I did this, I wouldn't be able to take care of myself, and I wouldn't be able to, you know, because in this world it's hard to be black.
Sure.
And it's hard to tell your black child who is an artist, go out there and figure it out as an artist. It's like,
Right.
I want you to be able to provide for your family.
Yeah.
So like I took like all of the standardized tests growing up, and I always did well in the sciences. So it was like, you can always be a singer, sing all you want to, but your job is in the sciences. So I got the degree and I did that. And I'm glad.
Sure.
I don't regret going to college and pursuing that. But it was a very like, and I don't blame my family, because my family had also been discouraged in the same way when they were
Yeah,
growing
man,
up,
yeah,
and before
yeah.
that, and
It
before
trickles
that.
down. It
Yeah,
always
so it's like you
trickles
can't
down.
blame people. It don't have nothing to do with people.
Mhm.
It's just fear, and I recognized it and I named it, and I was just like, I'm not gonna let that stop me.
Sure.
And that's like principle of mine. If I'm afraid of something, that's the first thing I'm gonna go do.
So like you're being told, all right, like, you know, get something that could, you know, hold you down financially. Like what field did you end up, going in? Like I know you said you got your degree in biology, but like what work did that lead to?
I started off in research.
Okay.
And then I started working in clinical labs like Quest Diagnostic.
Okay.
Then I got into plasma, and then I started managing plasma centers between here and Cleveland. And
Bro,
then-
just even talking to you, man, like you're such a soulful dude, bro. Like how is working in that? Like how was working in that? Like that must have just fucking just took so much out of you, bro. Just like kind of just research by like that does not sound like nothing that like you'd be fucking interested
Really?
in, bro. Nah,
well,
yeah.
actually, it's funny, like, cause I do love the subject.
Okay.
Like, so it's I enjoy discovery in general.
Okay, wow.
And so
alright.
at the baseline, because of that joy, it goes anywhere I go. So if I'm
Copy,
in
yeah.
the lab at a bench, I need to talk to people because I'm so extroverted. But I was
Yeah.
talking to my benchmates and I was talking to everybody in the lab, and I'm knocking on the dude who run the lab with the PhD's office every now and then. I'm like, hey, what's going on with you? What you eating for lunch? You know,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
So
facts.
I was still who I am, but
Got
it was
you.
just like
Okay.
we were working. I'm a hard worker, so
Mhm.
whatever I love projects and
Mhm.
whatever the assignment is, I'm putting my heart into that. And
Facts.
so I was able to still be who I am, but the only difference was I had people above me who didn't understand parameters. And you find that in corporate America a lot.
Sure,
Where
yeah.
people want to just, they see something in you and they're going to keep sucking it out.
Right,
And
yeah.
I was working like 60-hour weeks. And that's when I was like, I do love this, but I'm in the wrong part of this value system. I'm not valued. And I was like, I can use these gifts and I can use my work ethic on my own interest.
Yeah.
And like, so I work just as hard. I don't work 60-hour weeks because I don't think that's sane. If you don't have to, like, I think,
nah,
like,
man. Like,
every time I don't get a break, I'm like, I'm my own boss. I don't have nobody to blame but me.
yeah,
And
right.
So I'm like, rest. I just came off retreat last week,
Yeah.
Sunday to Wednesday. It's like, there's always gonna be money to be made. There's always gonna be another show happening. You don't have to jump at everything. The things that are for you will come,
Will
and
gravitate
your rest
towards
will
you.
have space. And
Yep.
that's why, like, that was like when my grandfather got sick in 2017, and I needed to take PTO. He was in St. Louis, and I only had a certain amount of PTO. You know, you work for a job, you get
Sure.
2, maybe 3 weeks if
Yeah.
if they being generous.
Right.
And I realized I needed more time than PTO would allow. And I was like, here we go. Here's a problem with corporate America. I'm not from the city that I'm working in, and I need real time to be with my grandfather who is on hospice. And when I realized they, even in their best efforts to honor me, they gave me, 3 weeks, but it was like, okay, you got to come to work. And I was like, I understand that your hands are tied, but mine are not. Like, I don't have to follow that. I can walk away, and I can trust that if I value the things that are pressing on my heart, everything else will take care of itself.
Yeah.
And so I quit, and I went
Wow,
home.
okay.
And I got that time with
Yeah.
my grandpa, which you cannot put a number on. It's invaluable. Like, even if you told me you was gonna give me $100K to stay at work, I still would have went home.
Yeah, right.
Because, like, now he did pass away, but it's like I
Sorry
got
to hear that.
real time with that man
Sure.
that I otherwise would not have had if I was still pursuing my own ambitions. Like, I pursue my family, I pursue love, I pursue peace. Like, these, I don't pursue. I, like, slowly over the time, I've just, like, less and less pursued material things,
Sure.
and I've pursued the things that actually fuel me in the long run, and that's quality time. Like,
Yeah.
you got to be with your people.
Yeah.
Time is short, man.
Nah. I mean, I'm with you 100% on that. And, like, it even just kind of like leads me to my next question. So, like, was that moment like pretty much like the turning point that, like, you put the 9 to 5 to, like, decide and like you're like I'm gonna pursue time with family, but then, like, also, like, I'm just gonna follow my passion? Was that like moment when you were taking care of your grandfather that for you?
Yeah, it was that time, but I'll be honest, like, I didn't know at the time that that's what that time was. I felt like I was pressed up against the wall.
Wow.
I was like,
okay.
I need to see my grandpa, but I got this job and I can't just walk away from this. So when I walked away, I was terrified,
Sure.
but
yeah.
I knew what the priority was, and I was like, I won't say it was like some big spiritual moment for me of like, oh, I'm trusting God with this, but I did, but frighteningly, I was just like,
no, right.
you got to do something because
You ain't know
family
where it's
come
gonna
first.
go,
Yeah,
right.
and if you putting this on my heart, it's for a reason. And then I was like, once he passed, I went home for another 3 weeks because I went home to spend time with him, and then I came back, and about 10 days later he passed. So right after he passed, and I went back to St. Louis, and in that time I was like, okay, I'm gonna take a couple weeks, but I need to get back to work. You know? I was gonna go to a new job because I had quit the last one. I was like, I could find another job in the field. And then while I was on break at home, I was looking at my emails, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't have to go back to corporate America. I got so many gigs lined up, and I didn't even know that I was working that hard. I was working as a full-time musician and as a full-time manager of plasma centers, assistant manager of plasma centers, and didn't even realize I was working that hard. And so once I quit one, it was like, you still got this other full-time job that's already established.
Yeah.
Because I started working as a musician in 2013 when
Okay.
I moved to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
It wasn't until 2017 that I went full-time.
Got
So
you.
I
Okay.
just grinded it out. Like,
Yeah.
day and night. Like, I would work a shift in the plasma center in Cleveland, and I didn't have a car at the time. I get on the Greyhound, come perform down here, and then get back on the Greyhound at 12:30 in the morning to be back there at 2 and work a shift at 6 a.m.
Damn.
And so it was I was thirsty. Like, I wanted what I wanted. And, like, even though I had to make means and I had to make money with my day job, I ain't let that stop me from pursuing the things that I actually cared about. But it wasn't because I was trying to playing an escape. It was just like I love doing this. So when you love something, you do it with all your free time.
Sure.
And it's like, oh, jump on the bus and drive down there, do the thing I love the most. No big deal.
Damn, man.
And so yeah, it was like in that season when I was back home and I was like, wait, I'm stressing and I'm like, God, are you gonna make a way? And my man was like, I already did, man. When you go, your work is there. One of the companies, one of the wedding bands I work for, they heard about my grandfather's passing. They sent me a direct deposit.
Wow.
Just because he passed. Like take your time. Here's some money. And some real money. And everybody came alongside. When my grandfather passed, they called me about 6:00 in the morning. I was here in Pittsburgh. And I was like, obviously not thinking he was about to die because I believed the best. I was like, it's your grandpa. He gonna live forever. He was Superman to me. And when he did pass, I was so shocked. But my friends came alongside me, and one of my friends had a friend who was a pilot, and he was like, here go a ticket. I was in St. Louis with my family by noon, and my grandfather had passed at 6:00 that morning.
Wow.
And so it was like everything, the way was made clear. Like, you need to be with your family, and it was made clear to me that I don't have to go back to that industry. I have a career already in music. And I struggled. I'm not saying I walked in making six figures.
Right,
I still don't make 6 figures, let's be clear. But I struggled through it. Now, it's times where I ate stuff that I didn't necessarily want, but that noodles get you through.
Sure.
They do. And so they need to take that. Noodles get you through.
Yeah.
And I want my money for that.
We'll clip that. We'll clip that for sure.
No, they can keep it.
Yeah.
Let somebody take it. It was here first. Noodles get you through.
Yes, sir. The Stockard trademark.
Right. But anyway, man, it was just like it became clear. It's like, you sometimes there's a fork in the road.
Yeah.
And you unsure. This was one of them times where I was unsure, and then I just asked God, and He was like, "It's this way," and I was like, "Cool, it's that way."
Damn, and that 4-year period of just grinding and taking the Greyhounds, what was driving you and getting you through that? Was it just it's my love of music, or were you just this is gonna be something? So let me just.
No, I didn't think I was
doing
gonna be
this.
anything. It was desperation.
Damn.
That music was therapeutic for me.
Damn.
I was dealing with a lot of things that I didn't know how to resolve another way, but I knew when I was on stage they didn't exist.
So it meant that much you just I gotta just get this off my chest just because
that's exactly it. Get it off my chest. And that's when I started writing songs, because I didn't write music before 2013. I've always been a singer.
Yeah.
But I used to write in English class, I write essays and things like that, but I didn't really start writing songs until I got pushed up against the corner, and it was like, I need to figure out how to get this out.
Damn.
At the time, I was still of that old theology and not believing in therapy. And I'm not there no more. I got 2 counselors now, and I'm proud of it.
There you go.
But
right.
Before, I was like, I don't feel safe going to a counselor, because that's for people who are not me. I'm not even gonna say that word, but I used to believe that therapy was for a select group of people who were experiencing mental health things, and I'm like, we all experience mental health things. And at certain points, we all need somebody to talk to. But songwriting was my first outlet, and I was like, oh, I want to sing about that. And then it went beyond self-expression, and I was like, what if there's somebody else who feels the way I felt, and I know how it felt for me, and it was bad. So I'm like, I need to sing this song again. I need to sing it all the time, because I can help somebody else walk through what I'm talking about in those songs.
Yeah.
By just naming it,
That's fucking, because I took a Greyhound to when I initially moved out here.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it's just I can't imagine you just going back and forth on. Because we all know the experience on the Greyhound, man. You might be sitting next to a sweet old lady one trip and a blood the next. You never know.
And I will
that
say,
shit is crazy.
I don't remember ever getting the seat next to the old lady.
Yeah.
I always got.
You got met to the members.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I got everything else, and that was just man. Yeah. It was hard. It wasn't easy.
Yeah. Nah.
It
Facts.
wasn't easy.
So you said that you moved to Pittsburgh in 2013.
13, yeah.
What was it? Just work that brought you out here initially?
Graduate school.
Graduate school.
So
Gotcha. Okay.
After undergrad, I graduated in 2012.
Got you.
I took a year off, went to St. Louis, and grinded, because I wanted to go to grad school, and I had applied to 5 schools, and I got into 4.
Okay.
But the one I didn't get into was my number 1 choice.
Okay.
So when I didn't get in, I took a year off, and I was like, let me reassess. And Point Park in Pittsburgh was my second choice.
Okay,
so
yeah, right.
I just called them up, and I was like, hey, can I come next year? And they was like, yeah. So I came. And then after that, after working up through Plasma in 2016 was when I took residence in Cleveland. And then 2016 and 17 is when I was doing the most of that commuting back and forth not every day, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nah, that so did you So like outside of St. Louis, like were there any other places that like you made pit stops to live, or like was it just like from St. Louis to Pittsburgh for graduate school?
That was it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah,
St.
yeah.
Louis,
That's
where I was born, I went to
yeah.
Alabama for undergrad,
Okay.
back to St. Louis for a year,
Hmm.
then Pittsburgh, and then 2016 Cleveland, like back and forth, and then now I've been permanently here since 2017.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So when and just even like kind of going back to when you were in Alabama, right? Like were you or did you have like the inclination to create or perform when you were in college at all, or
Mhm.
like did that kind of come more after?
No, it was happening at the same time.
Okay.
Like this duality has always been in my life. So
Huh, okay.
when I was studying biology, I was on scholarship for singing.
Hmm.
And so I was on choir scholarship, and by the time I graduated, I was on full scholarship to sing to get a degree in biology. It was like
Yeah.
it was real tricky. So I was like managing, being a section leader in the choir and all these rehearsals and the musicals and all these shows and things like that, and also keeping up with my studies and the research hours and like the labs and like the tutoring and all of these things. Man,
Mhm.
it was a busy, and I was working 2 jobs off campus and a work study on campus.
Damn.
It was like, yeah, I don't struggle to work hard. I
Yeah.
struggle to realize when I'm working too hard.
Right.
Like I'm on the opposite end. Like somebody got to tap me on the shoulder and say,
Be
"Go
like,
take a
yo,
nap."
yeah.
'Cause you in hyperspeed. And part of that, I have ADHD
Mm-hmm.
that I don't take medicine for,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's easy for me to function that way, like in a hyper sense of like I can focus on many different things at the same time.
Huh.
Now that can be detrimental,
Sure.
but I think at that time, in certain points of your life when you forced to like center yourself, you
Right.
figure out how to make it work. And college was one of those times where I like figured out how to let ADHD work for me.
That's kind of wild. Like, how did you like, like what mental space were in to be like, yo, like let me hone this and like instead of like let it kind of like deter me from like what I want to do.
Uh, well, part of it was naysayers.
Mm.
I don't believe in anybody telling me what I can't do.
Mhm.
And people were saying that it's not realistic to graduate in 4 years, given how many things I was doing. In my junior year, I really screwed up academically. And so my academic advisors and my biochemistry teacher, microbiology, genetics, all of them was like, you need to consider another semester or maybe another year. And I was like, when I came into this school, I asked God to help me do it in 4 years. And I'm not gonna back down off what I asked for. Now, if he don't answer that, that's on him. And I literally was it was ignorant to think this, but I was audacious in thinking that if he don't do this, then I got something to say to him. And I got to have a conversation with him once everybody else walk and I don't walk, because I asked in faith and I did my part. And so my whole motivation all through everything that I went through in college was, if I do my part, his word is true and he gonna do what he said.
Right.
And he said I can walk in forward. And so my last semester, my biochemistry teacher, she said, "Do you think you Superman?" She literally came at me straight, because my last semester, I was working at Panera Bread. I was working at Express. I was doing a work study in my voice teacher's class. I was the president of the Christian Student Association. I was working in the Color Purple musical off campus.
God, nah,
I
this nigga's the Black Clark Kent. I don't give a fuck.
Bro, I was working.
I don't care. Yeah,
I was working.
yeah, man.
And she said to me, "Do you think you Superman?" I was going
Right.
tutoring for biochemistry Monday to Thursday, 6 to 9 at night. And it was like I was working weekends on all these jobs and working throughout the week on campus. And it was like all of these things. And she was like, "Do you think you Superman?" I was like, "No," but I had a very clear voice tell me to come to school here in 2008 that has carried me all the way to 2012. So why would I change up what I trust just because it got hard? And so that was it. And it did get hard. It got so hard that I was like, about April, I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna graduate on time, but I'm gonna keep pushing. And I had a thesis to turn in. And what happened was, and this is a theme. If you put all of your energy and all your faith into something, you will believe it, but more so everybody around you will believe it and come alongside you.
Yep.
My biochemistry teacher, my genetics teacher, my cell physiology teacher, and my I think I said that. But the four of them came together and they was like, you need to stop working because you need to focus on your thesis. And I was like, easier said than done. And they was like, here go the money for your rent. Here go the money for all of this.
Your advisor gave you that.
All of my advisors came together. I went to a
What?
HBCU and I highly recommend.
Shout out to that. Yeah, that's
because
crazy.
It goes way beyond
That's
the classroom,
crazy,
the kind of
yeah.
care that they give you. Shout out to Dr. Gray, Dr. I can't even think right now. I got their faces. Myself, Dr. Booker, Dr. Dory Raj, like all of them, they came together.
Wow,
and
that's
these
incredible.
Black and white people. And
That's
so they came
incredible.
together and they was like, we see how serious you are about making this happen. And they knew I was a little bit of a lunatic. They like, this boy gonna run himself to the ground because it's his faith. He will not give up. It's not about whether or not God can do something. It's will he. He can. And you can't change your faith about what he can do. And that's what I was convicted by. I was like, it's not gonna be because I gave up. And you know what? I walked on time. And like, bro, after that ceremony, we went to some buffet. I think it was Golden Corral.
Yeah.
And my family all drove down from St. Louis, and these 16 passenger vans, just like 3 or 4 of them came down south. They came swarming to support me. And we get down, we sit down for dinner, and that's when it hit me.
Wow.
I was so used to like get it done. I went through the whole graduation ceremony, and it didn't click. And then we sat down for dinner. I just put my head down on the table, and I was like, we did it. Thank you, Lord. And I stayed for the rest of the summer, and then I moved back. And that experience fueled me, man. I could tell these stories all day long.
No, please, man. It's the place.
Yeah, man. I've always tested it, and I've always found them to be true.
Bro, like, shout out to the advisor. I mean, that's incredible, man.
I'm telling you, people will come alongside your vision. People don't. The reason, if you feel like you working and nobody believe in you or nobody coming, because they see that you don't believe in you.
Right.
Who gonna come alongside something that is half-hearted?
Right.
If you be like, yeah, I'm working on a podcast, but we be, sometimes we be canceling, and sometimes we don't believe in ourselves, and sometimes we just be like, we don't know what's happening. But if you like, I'm hosting the podcast, I would love to have you on this, and this is what we doing.
Yeah.
I'm not coming on here because I want to be seen. I'm coming here because I want to come alongside what you're doing.
Right.
I believe in you.
Right.
I don't believe in anything. I'm just not a belief in anything else other than what you said. When you asked me to come on here, you came to me and you looked me in my face. And before we even left the same space, you had texted me all the details.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, he believe in this. And I'm like, that's easy to get alongside of.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
I wanna help champion everybody's vision.
For sure.
Because that's what else is there? And not because I know that a lot of people came alongside my visions, and they continue to come alongside my visions.
No, facts, man. I mean, bro, like, I was telling you, man, bro, after that performance, I was like, no. I mean, bro, like, because, like, he even told me, he's like, yo, get him on the pod. I was like, say less. Yeah, no, I was like, no, say less, man. So, like, we were, like, dead excited to have you on, man. But, bro, that story is fucking incredible, man. Like, man. That's wild. So, it's like, after that experience happens, right, you're going through college, man. You made it in 4 years, man. 2013, you're in grad school. Like, kind of walk me through initially, right, when you're kind of taking those Greyhounds to perform. Like, what's kind of going through your head, and, like, how did those performances go?
Well, when I first moved to the city, I was like, I'm a new person in a new city. Like, I felt brand new.
Yeah, facts. Right.
It's like,
could be a whole new person. Right, yeah, right.
Nothing about me. I can tell you what I want to tell you.
Right.
And I can be who
I'm Spider-Man for real.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
I don't have to be the biologist. I don't have to be just the singer.
Mm-hmm.
I can be whoever I wanted to be. And I started walking into that. And I was like, how do I want to dress? I was walking down the street all downtown. I'm like, I like this look. Let's see what attention they get. And that's the truth. And people say, I like that on you. And I was like, I never dressed like that before, but people like it.
That's crazy, yeah.
And I like it. It was like stepping out of comfort.
I feel you.
And I was working, and I met some friends through a church when I first moved here, and they were musicians, and they were like come from a long line of professional musicians. And like my family is like just naturally gifted, but they hadn't worked in the field.
Sure.
My friend's family worked in the field, and so they was giving us advice, and they was like, write songs. It's not hard. They was like, the Sparkses, Greg and Rebecca, they was just like, you want to write a song? Okay. It's not hard. Write it down. Write what you're thinking. What's on your heart? And that was when I started to I wrote Getting Out of Here in like the first semester that I lived in the city, because I was working at a job along with school. I was working at a job, and it was terrible. It was data entry for like prescription for online
just like mind-numbing stuff.
Real stupid. It was so bad that they had a quota that I had to do per hour.
Yeah.
I did it in the first 15 minutes, and every 45 minutes I took a break. 45 minutes on the hour.
I feel it, yeah, right.
I'll be going to the bathroom, out on the parking lot,
playing
games on my phone, come back at the top of the hour, do 15 minutes worth of work, walk away. Because I was working with like people who was retired, just looking for something to do.
Got you, right.
And so it was like, but anyway, you was asking about like that experience coming into performance. So after I started writing those, I formed a little group. We Wayfaring Brothers, we called ourselves. I sang, dude played keys, and the other dude played guitar.
Okay.
And then we started doing open mic nights. And then I remember like Acoustic Cafe at Club Cafe on East Carson Street was like one of the ones that I remember the most. And that was like the first time where somebody passed me a business card and it went farther. Yeah. And it was like, that's how I got into the wedding band. And through my connections in the wedding band, that's how I started singing background for the Common Heart, which is a rock and roll band in the city that's done incredible things.
Yeah.
And then from that, it was like I toured the country and I saw the way things were working. And I said to myself, I love this. And I was singing background. I said, but I know I can do this for myself. And that's when I got a taste of like, oh, you don't have to just sing background. I love singing background. And I still do for them from time to time.
Facts.
December 30th, we're doing a show together at Smalls.
Okay.
But like, I saw what I could do. And I came back home and I started writing. I started writing like crazy. And I was like, here go this album, here go this album. I wrote this album. I wrote like 3 or 4 albums, just wrote them out. And then that's what brought me to like a solo career. And I was like, I'm going to write all this stuff and I'm going to go right back out there and do what I saw the people who were leading me do. Like Clinton Clegg is the lead singer of the Common Heart. And I was like, I seen him do it. And he showed us the whole process. He was super transparent about everything. And then when I told him I was going solo, he was encouraging. And he still, if I got a question right now, I can call Clinton and be like, how did you conquer Dallas? How did you do this in San Francisco? How did we do this in Oregon or whatever? And like he'll be like, whoop-de-woo. And I'm like, okay, whoop-de-woo. I'm going too. You know, I'm going to do it for myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of how it started happening.
So like it sounds like when like you started like, you know, kind of pursuing music initially, like, or like, you know, you can if like, you know, let me know, was the game plan kind of just like kind of again, because like you said it was therapeutic, was it more to just get in front of people and perform, or did you actually want to get in the habit of releasing content, like, you know, as far as music? It
went from being therapeutic to the part of me that is inquisitive. Like, I just want to understand the next step. You know, it was like, I heard everybody else putting out an album. How do I do that? I want to know what recording is like.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
right.
oh, this is recording. I was like, well, how do you get people to listen to it? And I'm still learning about that.
Sure,
like,
yeah.
And so it's just been like I see questions in front of me, and that bothers me. I don't like to see just questions.
A fan of discovery, bro.
Oh,
like,
And that's what I mean about like how the science worked with me. But like, I like to discover. Like the next, I'm always thinking about like right now I'm putting out a Christmas album. I've never done that before.
And no, we're gonna get to that.
Yeah,
man.
but I was like, I want to know what that's like. I want to know what it's like to be in that market.
Yeah.
You know? So that's for me. It's just always been about discovering the next thing, or just
Sure.
like seeing other people and not being jealous at all, but being like, oh, we can both have some of this, because the music industry is vast, and there aren't enough stages.
Sure, yeah.
You can say there's not enough stages, but if you try to go out as a musician, you will find that there's always space.
Did you find like trouble like kind of setting up the gigs initially, or like did it just like, you know, kind of, you know, fall into you like?
No, so it started off like when I was working background, I didn't have to find the gigs.
Okay,
like
right.
They found them and they tell you,
Yeah,
be
right.
here,
They
be
just
here,
like,
get in the
let you
van
know,
and we
right?
going.
Yeah.
And then when I went solo, it was literally as simple as me saying, I'm putting out an album. And people being like, can you come do this? And it was like somebody at that show saw me and was like, can you come do this? Somebody at that show saw me, can you come do this?
Yeah.
And that's still to this day how it is. Like all of the stuff that I get is because somebody saw me somewhere else.
That's
I
fire.
was like, can you come over here?
Yeah.
I mean, we heard.
Yeah, facts.
We met at a show.
Real shit, like, right.
Can you come over here? I'm like, absolutely. I want to do everything that is in front of me. I don't chase things that everybody else is doing for the sake of trying to be like
Talk
people.
to the mic.
Oh yeah, like for the sake of being like people. No, I don't chase things like that. I chase and I have ambition, but I go for the things right in front of me first. It's like here's an opportunity laid out in front of you, and it's like going from that mentality of like hustle, hustle, hustle to receive, receive, receive. And just like if you're already predestined to be who you are, all you got to do is wake up and accept that.
Facts.
And every day that you accept it, you'll see things gravitate towards you. And it doesn't mean people can look at that and get a big head. It don't mean that you are bigger than anybody or you're more special than the next person. It just means that you in your lane. And just remember that it's a lane. It's just a lane. You know, it is. That's all it is. You ain't supernatural. You ain't, Yeah.
Did like was that like did you find yourself, you know, kind of like being like, you know, feeling yourself like a little bit too much, like you just like, you know, kind of have to bring yourself down, or like were you able to just like kind of keep a level head throughout that process? Like,
well, I think I had. Are we talking about humbling experiences?
Yeah.
And so I think I had a lot of humbling experiences before I was a musician.
Okay.
And so when I stepped into music,
fair enough, yeah,
that work was already like at work, and because I
feel that.
I wasn't rushed into it. Like I said, I've always been a singer, but so I've always known about the music industry, but
Yeah.
because I wasn't rushed into it, I could observe it for a long time, and I saw what I didn't like on other people, and I was like, if I ever do this, it won't look like that. It won't
Facts.
look like that. And then
Yeah,
it was like,
I feel
here are the
that.
things that it won't look like that kind of create the outline for what it will look like.
Mhm.
And like in that center of that circle, it was like, it's gonna look like this. I'm gonna be authentic because I don't like it when you hear a catalog or you listen to somebody's discography and it's like they all over the place, and I'm just like, is this the same person writing all these songs? It's like well, who are you? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Dog, and like bro, me and him were just like even talking this on like the last pod. And, like, I would love to like hear your opinion on this. Like, I don't like ever like want to not want to like achieve it, but like I know it's a byproduct of just like kind of being in the entertainment space, right? But it's like fame. Like, do you ever like what's your thoughts on like just fame? Or just like wanting to like achieve fame, like do you like seek it out? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, because like I personally don't seek to achieve fame, but I do know that if when this podcast gets a mass fan base, like people will know. Yeah. No, I mean, bro, no,
that's true.
real shit. You know what I mean? But
Starts up here, right?
it's a byproduct. Like, people are gonna see this, and
Right.
mass amounts of people are gonna see it. So
Yeah.
like, just like as a byproduct of that, people will know, who I am. Like, like what's going on. Sure, but I don't ever want to like be famous.
Right.
Like I don't ever want to pursue that. So like,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that? Like,
Yeah, I think in general, like my short answer is like fame is irrelevant
yeah,
to
right.
what I do.
Yeah.
And like, but because fame can come in any discipline or in any field of work.
Facts. Yeah, right.
I mean, Steve Jobs,
right,
famous. He was famous.
And like high
like,
level of success,
yeah.
people will know.
And so I think you can't control it. That's
Mhm.
the hard part to like reconcile. Like, you can't control who gon' share your album or
Right,
post
yeah.
your face on this or this. So when you Google your
Yeah.
name, you can't control those search results. It's
Right.
whatever people put up.
Right.
But I've experienced the dangers of fame from the sidelines. Like, I've seen people in my life become famous, and I've seen other like celebrities, and I watched those stories, and there are many common themes among famous people.
Sure.
Of like their demise, so
Sure.
to speak. Like, at some point they get so famous and it just starts. The people who seem to really understand fame and maintain it and never really crumble are the people who are like kind of push away from it. Like, they go
Sure,
into
yeah.
the shadows. They not.
Yeah.
They like, nope, my life is private.
Yep.
And like, but the people who get in the front of that, it's not because they've done something wrong, but it's just like when that much attention is on you and people glorify you and idolize you, you're an idol. You're a false.
Especially in
Yeah.
America specifically,
Yeah.
like just like it's a phenomenon with celebrities. Like
Yeah.
people are just obsessed with just like, what do you do outside? Like they
Yeah.
like, they just want like just like a scope on your life. You know what I mean?
And that's weird.
I,
think it's weird.
agree.
It's weird for
I
on both
agree.
sides. It's weird for anybody to say in their life, I value another person more than I value the entity that created us all. And it's weird to be a person that says, yes, people admire me, people look to me, and you don't know nothing. You don't know shit about shit.
Right.
And it's like, what makes you think you have enough authority to tell people how to live, to influence people actively of like, this is the way to go.
Influencers.
Like, that's
what
crazy,
does that even
man.
mean? What?
Like, yeah, it's like, that's
Like,
not,
what?
I'm not saying like I have something against people who make a career out of
No,
influencing.
right.
But I am saying that for me, that's irrelevant. I'm like, if people draw influence from the things that I'm saying, it's gonna be okay with me because what I'm saying is derived from what I believe of something bigger than me. So if you are influenced by me, you're not pointing at me, you're pointing at the thing that it came from.
Facts,
you know?
right.
So it's like, that's why I'm really careful about what I write and what I say and how I behave, because
Right.
like, I want to draw you. Yes, I want your attention, but not for me.
Facts.
Like, I want your attention because there's something in all of us that is broken, and there's an answer for all of that. And it's in
Facts.
community. It's in saying it out loud.
Yeah.
Like, if I come to you and be like, bro, I'm just struggling with drinking. You know, you could hear me. You know, you might share your own experience, but at the same time, you gonna respect what I said, and now we build some understanding. Like,
Hell
if I'm
yeah.
at a bar and you see me at the bar, you gonna put me to the side and be like, so what's up? You know, in a cool way. Be like, you cool with this? Like, you good, right? You know, and in that way, that's how I write songs. Like, I want to be able to come to you and say, we talked about this, right? We good, right? Are we good? And it's like, yeah, that's it. It ain't about look at me shine, listen to all these runs. It ain't all of that. Those gonna come out naturally, but listen to the message, because the message is, I'm your brother, and I care about the things that you're dealing with, And I'm gonna keep exposing the things I'm dealing with so that you can see how normal I am.
Facts.
So that you won't do this in your head of
Right.
me, of like lift me up, lift me up. I'm like, I'm just as boring as you are. In a sense, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I'm
No,
not
I
more-
feel it.
I
Right.
don't shine brighter than you.
Yeah.
We all shine the same.
I just express it through music. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, like,
It's
and
just
not,
my
but
job just happens to be.
I feel that. And, like
Yeah.
you know, he's like a big proponent of, like, just, you know, music, just like whatever you create, whatever it is, you know, you create skits, music, whatever. Like, it's just, it has to be you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be like a character or like, you know, something, or like if it is a character, understand that like that's what it is, a character.
Yeah.
Like, that's not like, don't dive too deep into that and then like make it the nucleus of who you are.
Yeah.
You know what
no,
I mean? Like,
I'm
it's
just telling a different story.
you know, yeah, and like
Yeah.
no, like, and like I totally feel that, because like, again, just like kind of like speaking to what you said, like I feel like, just from my opinion, like the people that kind of like crumble under fame are the people that like have created a character, and it's just like they get so, or just are being a caricature of themselves. You know what I mean? Like, there's a Charlemagne the God quote that says like, you never want to be a caricature of yourself.
Yeah. No.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you never want to like feel like you're playing as yourself.
Yeah.
Like, that's like a dangerous space to be in, man. And like, you know,
'Cause
it could
you gotta keep turning it on.
literally,
That's
bro.
exhausting.
Literally, bro.
It's
You
way
know?
easier to just be who you actually are.
Come on, man.
You know that. You know.
Yeah, nah,
Yeah.
facts. So like, nah, I definitely feel you on that, man. So just kind of switching gears, bro. Like, so outside of your grandfather, like, because like I know like you know spend like a lot of time with him, just like, you know, as in the church as well, just like, you know, kind of like, you know, developing your skills and stuff like that. But who else inspires you musically outside of him?
My mom,
Mhm.
my big sister.
Okay.
Yeah, like my sister, she was one of those interesting people. Like, you ever meet somebody and they like just exceptionally beautiful and equally humble?
Mm.
Like you like sometimes it like throw you off. Like, how do you
Balance
wake
the
up
two.
knowing that you look like what you look like and the world sees you a certain way, yet the humility is just like overpowering. Like, my sister was one of those people, and it was like we go out in public and everybody be staring at her, and I'm like, man, don't be looking at my sister. But at the same time, she would be like so humble. She sang, but she wouldn't sing in front of people. Like, you know,
yeah.
she had this crazy voice, but she was like, I don't want to sing. I don't
Try but not try. She'll like
Yeah.
she'll give you a few
She give
harmonies,
you a
but
little,
yeah.
little woo woo. But yeah. And it was like she was more so like my first manager.
Wow.
And she
okay.
was like, you gonna go up there and sing, and I'm gonna direct you, and I'm gonna give you notes. And so she gave me notes of like, do it this way. Not just me and some of my other cousins and my brother. Like, we formed like a little group.
Okay.
When we were teenagers, and my sister used to direct us.
Mhm.
It was Christian music, and she would direct us. And I remember, man, I just like remember vividly her standing in front of us and just being like, with her back to the crowd, so enthusiastic about us getting it right. And those rehearsals, she was 7 years older than me, and she would wake up on Saturday morning, go get us donuts, and make us go to rehearsal at the church on Saturdays at 9 a.m. And she was like mid-20s.
Mhm.
What person in their mid-20s is sacrificing like that
Not many.
for the
Not
sake
many.
of developing
Someone
younger
else.
people?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
someone
like
else.
when I was 25, I wasn't that noble.
Come
I was
on,
like,
man. Come on.
I just
Come
wasn't.
on,
You know?
yeah.
And so it was something like to experience that, and it was also, it made me think, if you believe in me this much, there's got to be something to believe in. And that it lifted me.
Damn, yeah.
You know? And so she, unfortunately, my sister passed away
I'm sorry
in
to hear that, man.
2019. I appreciate that. But and my last album, Chase Chance, is
No, we're gonna get to that.
yeah,
man.
it's named
Incredible
after my
album.
nieces, her daughters, Chase and Chance.
Wow.
And so we
That's
started.
crazy.
I wrote that album and started thinking through that music while she was living, and we like talked about the title. She agreed on it, and she passed before it was released.
Man.
And so, but she was a very big musical influence in me. Like, she believed in me so much that like by the time I was an early adult, she was calling me because she was still in St. Louis doing work with singers at her new church, and she was like, Kenny, you need to work with this lady and teach her how to do it right. And I'm like, you think I know how to do this? And so she was like, yeah, you know how to do this. And I stepped into these like masterclass situations. She's like, yeah, my little brother gonna teach you how to do this. And I did, but because I rode on the strength of her belief in me, you know, and it worked out. Like, when you walk into a room confidently, you're able to accomplish way more than you can if you walk in there timid or afraid, you know what I mean? So yeah, like, but that's not it. Like I went to college. I had a voice professor, Dr. Harrison,
Right.
and then I had a choir director, Dr. Westgate, and I had friends who were way better singers than me, who was like, "Bro, stop doing that, run wrong." You going ooh, and it's like that was messy, but and they like
Yeah.
do it all clean. It's like I was the underdog all through
Huh.
college. Like I was not even first choice for solos when it came to guys. It was like I was like fifth on the list, and we would do like those. We did what we call student choice awards where I went to school, which was like superlatives from high school, like
Okay.
best dress, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
And there would be most talented or best male vocalist. I was always like fourth from the top. I never won.
Oh man, they're
But
violating.
that was a great place to be
Mm.
because it made me always work, and it made me walk on stage knowing that I'm not the best,
Mm.
but I can give my best in that moment.
Mhm.
And that's what I love about listening to my music over the years. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna give it to you as honest as it was in that moment. I'm not over polishing vocals because if I do that, I'm saying I was at a place higher than I actually was. So when I look back, it's not accurate.
Oh.
I love to look back and be like, that's where you were. Look how you've grown. I can't
Mm.
track my growth if I'm faking it.
So
You
as
know?
far as like your vocals, like, do you mix them at all, or like what do you like? Like what's the process there? Or like, do you just kind of like go with more of just like the raw sound?
I've done a little bit of everything. Like
Okay.
I've worked with vocal producers.
Okay.
I've worked as my own vocal producer, singing background, singing lead. And there are times when a certain vocal producers will push me to the edge, like the edge of my voice, like the raspy part of my voice and the part that is just emotive and it's not perfect. And I've sang classical music, I've sang in operas. And so
Wow.
in the operas, it was like, no, get it right. Get the diction right. Get
Sure,
the language
yeah,
right.
right.
There is a standard and you need to rise to it.
Mhm.
And then, so it's like different producers will pull you different ways.
Sure.
And so you really got to know who you are in all of those situations in order to not get lost vocally. Because you know singers or vocalists who over the course of their life or their career, you just like, man, they just did some of everything. And you can't really name what they good at. They just, and like sometimes they be on the song, you be like, I didn't even realize that was them.
Type
You know,
shit. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah. Right,
because
right.
they have lost their way vocally. And it's just like, you need to know who you are. So I could sing a country song and you still gonna know it's Kenny singing that
Yeah,
song.
facts.
Because there's a center in that. If like, no matter which way you like to shape it, it's still coming from the same source.
Right.
You know?
The same nucleus.
Yeah,
Mhm.
facts.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's been an interesting journey trying to figure out and find my voice. And I won't say I fully found it,
Mm.
but I know when I'm singing from a true place, and that can transcend genre.
Dog, I love this. No, this pod is gonna be crazy. This is already nuts, man. I love this conversation, bro. So like, when you settled down here,
Mhm.
like what was like, did you have to find the momentum again? Because I mean, like, you're going from like obviously like taking Greyhounds to like finally settling here.
Mhm.
Was it just kind of like a smooth transition and just like kind of like picking up those gigs again? Or, like, you just kind of have to like find your footing and get back in the scene?
No, it was easy. It was
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, the way was straight.
Yeah,
It was
got you, all right.
It was already on the calendars.
Got you.
And it was like I just hadn't noticed it because I was so busy, but it was
Right.
on I had been actively, oh, you want me here? You want me here on that date? Da 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 da.
Right.
And I was doing a lot of corporate work for a
Mhm.
wedding band, and I've done more than 200 weddings.
God,
People I don't even know since 2013.
200 weddings,
Oh,
bro.
yeah. And the receptions, so I'm singing all night.
Oh
Like,
my.
I'm singing
So
all
like, how
night.
long is that? Like
Like
just
4 hours at least.
golly.
And so it was me. It's usually me and a female vocalist, and
Mhm.
every other song I'm leading, and then I'm singing BGVs on when they leading. So
That's crazy.
that built in me a stamina, and it really gave me my 10,000 hours. You know about that? Just
Sure,
like-
yeah, right.
And I walked into the wedding band singing ballads, standing flat-footed, real timid, singing, but not expressing, not performing. And like over the years, they gave me that first test ground because you don't know performing until you're in a room full of drunk people who want to have a party.
Right.
And you're gonna have to step up. You
Yep.
can't just stand there
Yep.
and sing. And so I learned from that. It was like, oh, when I do this, they went crazy. And it was like, I never would have done that on my own, but it's like they like that. They like me singing that song, and I stepped into
That's
every
critical,
genre
right.
because I'm like, I'm singing country, I'm singing rock and roll, I'm singing R&B, I'm singing soul, I'm singing folk because the weddings they requesting what they want to hear, the couple.
Sure,
So
yeah,
I'm
right,
like,
yeah.
I done stepped into every genre. every weekend for 8 years, and it's like,
That's crazy.
or actually 9 years now, because it was 2013 when I started. Yeah, something like that. And it's
Shit,
like,
going on a decade. Like we're about to be in 2023.
yeah, but we're not
Yeah.
gonna hit a decade
Yeah.
because I'm done.
Oh.
Actually, I phased out. That's how I know how
Right.
many I've done, because I was counting it at the end. I
I
was
feel
like,
it, I feel
it was
it.
like 215 ish, and I was like,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's done because that season passed, and you
Yeah.
got to know when the time is up.
Right.
Because it was like, now I'm more interested in singing on my interest than my capital.
Mm.
And so, and that's not an original, or I won't say that I was profound. I took that from a classical singer, Leontine Price, who was like the first black singer to open the new Metropolitan Opera in New York City in 1965.
Shit, okay.
But one of her quotes was, and I studied her because she was successful in the arts. And
Yeah.
she said she didn't sing on her capital. She sang on her interest.
What
So-
does that mean on your capital?
What makes money. So she didn't go for the gigs that paid. She went for the ones that spoke to her heart.
Fair, yeah.
When if they paid, great. But she was not gonna say yes to a high check if it wasn't on her interest, if she wasn't interested in it. And what happened was people criticized her career along the way, but ultimately she became who she was supposed to be.
Facts.
And then in her later life, in her 50s, 60s, she's still living. She's in her 90s now. People recognized you've always been who you are, and that is worth honoring. And that's where I'm at. I'm like,
Yeah.
I am who I am. I'm not trying to build a career. I am
Right.
just following my own destiny.
Huh.
And the accolades and the attributes and all of those things, they'll come when it's time.
Man.
But I'm not gonna seek those. Like I'm seeking pursuit, freedom, the honesty, the
Yeah,
truth. Like
man.
I'm seeking that.
I feel you
Yeah.
1,000 like I like, and that's the thing like that I love about just podcasting. Like to be honest, like it just I'm not trying to be anything. Like I'm just
Yeah.
just like just having a dope conversation, just
Yeah.
being myself, and like the other person's like being like we're not trying to do anything. You know what I
No,
mean? Like
yeah.
thankfully like it's all being recorded. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But it's just like we're not like trying anything. Like we're just being ourselves, and like whoever gravitates towards that gravitates towards that.
Whoever don't.
And whoever
And
don't,
you gotta
we're
be
not
okay.
worried about you.
And you
Yeah,
gotta be okay with that. I think a lot of us
1,000%.
get upset with people who ain't on board. It's like, don't be mad at them. It's just not for them.
Literally,
And that's okay.
and thankfully, we live in a day and age where like it is accessible to the people who are rocking with it. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
they can coalesce around that. So like you don't have to put too much stock in the people that don't. Whereas
Right.
like maybe 20, 30 years ago, if someone didn't like it, you know what I mean? Like you would probably like hold whatever value you would towards that, and like like it would derail you, or like whatever. But no, like I 1,000% feel you on that. But fast forward, right? Was Tag Your It like the first single that like you ever released, or is that just on Spotify? Is that just what's on Spotify?
No, that's true. That's the first one. Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
man.
It
So
was-
I mean, like, so prior to that, like, were you just like doing covers, or just like did you have any original stuff, and what made you want to record that track?
So I had original music that I had written, but I had not recorded yet. And so like my Chase Chance album, I started writing that in 2014. And so I wrote that album for 2020 was when I wrote the last song on that project. So
Wow.
it took 6 years for me to write the songs that ended up being on that project.
Mhm.
But what happened was in 2019, dude named Cole Insco, who is now the drummer for the Common Heart. At the time, he was not.
Okay.
He was fresh out of Berkeley School of Music. And he had this track. He had a few tracks. He sent me like 3 or 4 tracks. And he was like, bro, I want you to try to write to these. And so the beat for Tag Your It existed before I came along. And so he gave me the beat. And he was like, what can you do with this? And so for all of the tracks, I wrote something. And we talked about it. And he was like, well, we both agreed this is the one that was standing out, Tag Your It. Like my other stuff, some of it was a little trashy. And I love, real sidebar, I love this quote or this analogy by Ed Sheeran on songwriting. He says that when you first start writing songs, it's like opening turning on a faucet. And when you first, I don't know if you ever been in a house that's been abandoned for a while, you turn it on, the rust gonna come out and like the water a little brown.
Yep.
But if you leave the water running, eventually it'll become clear.
Yep.
That's songwriting. You gotta get the trash out the way. You gotta write the crappy songs.
I love
and,
it.
And
I
every
love it.
and
That's
it's gonna
real
be a
shit,
spot.
though.
Yeah,
That's
it's gonna
real
be
shit.
every now and then you get
That's
a good
real
one.
shit, yeah.
But the more you keep writing, the more good ones you get. And the trash is very seldom.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And so I was writing to all of them, but only one of them worked at the time. So
Okay.
we went. He took me to ID Labs. It's the first time I ever worked in ID Labs.
Okay.
Where Mac Miller, R.I.P.
Sure. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Wiz,
Yeah.
You know, it's big for hip hop.
Sure.
And so I was going in there to sing though. And so I walk in there and the dude, Kyle, one of the engineers there, he was like, bro, I haven't heard like nothing like this in a while. I was like, what have you been listening? Because everybody rap in there. And I was like, cool. Bro, we walked in that session at like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. By like 2:30, we had a song.
Damn.
And it was funny. Like one quick thing about that song is at the end, I'm whistling. It's like, and then what happened was I wanted to sing that harmony, and so I was on the mic in the studio, and I was like, I ain't warmed up enough to sing that high note. And he was like, what's the note? And so I whistled it so he would know what the note was, and he was like, bro, just whistle it. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And it just happened. So like, Tag You're It, that's my first child. And it just naturally somebody came, like I said, somebody brought it to me, brought me a track, literally gave me an opportunity and was like, here's an opportunity and I'd like you to take it. And I took it.
What was like the feeling like releasing your first track as a, solo act? Like, what was that feeling like?
It was part of it was relief and
Yeah.
gratitude because at first I had been performing live so long, so people
Right.
had been asking me for a while,
Sure, yeah.
when you gonna put out some music, and I was like, I don't know nothing about that. It ain't in front of me. What's in front of me is the next gig, and so I was like, just catch me next weekend over here. I don't know about an album yet,
Yeah.
and so when it finally came out, I was just like, I was super grateful because I'm like, I didn't know it could be this easy. Because I thought I had to do it all myself. As an independent artist, you think every part is reliant on you and your
Right.
efforts.
Yep.
And at the time, I wasn't very confident in my keyboard playing. And I was confident as a songwriter, but I'm like, I can't put a song out because I don't feel comfortable saying what the chords are. I know how to sing the song into thin air, but like I don't know what supports me. And so I started training myself on piano. And
Wow.
so I just learned
Self-taught.
Oh yeah. I mean, I listen. I would ask people questions who knew piano. I'd be like, "So what that chord mean? How do you play that kind?" And I would look them up online. And I would look up my favorite songs. First song I learned was I don't even remember the name of it, but it's like the Bruno Mars. It's like same bed, but it feels just a little bit bigger now. Not so radio, it'll sound the same. When I Was Your Man.
Yes,
And so-
yes.
And that song,
Damn,
that
yeah.
song is in C.
Yeah.
And so it's the white keys. So you ain't gotta think too hard. All of the chords are just white keys.
That was the first song you learned on piano.
Like fully, yeah. And so when I played it, and I knew I was somebody once I learned that old song.
That's crazy.
My girlfriend at the time,
I thought it was about to be hot cross buns or some shit. Like,
no.
damn,
Because I was an adult. I was like, I want to learn this, and I want to
type
get
shit,
it right.
Yeah.
My girl at the time, I was like, come over to the piano, let me play you something. And I was
Yeah.
like, like that
Facts,
kind of stuff.
facts.
And so from that, then I was able to say these chords are what I'm hearing when I write these melodies.
Right.
And so I thought it was gonna be harder, but it was like the way was clear. Somebody wrote a track for me fully, handed me a whole track, and was like, just put words on it
Wow.
and sing it. And I was like, all right, that was easy.
Yeah.
Now my album was different. Like my album, I actually did write out chord charts and all of that, and I used this inspiration. And I called somebody with more musicality than me when it came to instruments. Jerome Kirkland, he produced my project, and he took my basic chord structures of the songs, and then he expanded those into what you hear when you listen to Chase Chance.
Yeah, and
So yeah.
that actually, just like leads me into like my next set of questions. Honestly, man, shout out to Chasing Chance, man. A great album, man. I listened to it last night, man, and I personally, I feel like it's like a much needed serotonin boost in a time where seasonal depression is rampant.
It's
You know what I
trying.
mean?
You take your vitamin D.
Yeah, not today, not
You
today.
need every day.
Real
Because,
shit, no.
Everybody in this hemisphere is vitamin D deficient.
Yeah.
My doctor tell me that.
Okay.
Like 30, like between 30 and 100 is normal.
Yeah.
And I went to the doctor for the first time when they told me I was deficient. My number was 12.
God.
And I was suffering.
Damn,
I felt
yeah.
it internally.
Right.
So it's real. Everybody in this part of the country is gonna suffer.
That
from
shit
it
is
because we get
super
too much
real.
overcast, and
Yeah.
our winter is longer than normal.
Bro, it began
Don't
dark
let it
at
get you.
it began dark at 4:30. You're like,
Yeah.
damn, like what the hell?
And you got to watch how much you're drinking because alcohol is a natural depressant.
Fair, yeah.
So in the winter, holidays is cool.
Yeah.
It's all right I'm gonna drink right now.
Yeah,
But I'm
right.
cognizant because you don't want that depression creeping in.
Nah, and like
People
that.
up here is super susceptible.
That shit is very, very real. But
Yeah.
just like even speaking to your album, man, like it felt really, really warm. And just
Appreciate
even like the first track, Summertime, and I'm just like, wow,
yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like it was incredible. So I don't take up too much of your time, man, but just kind of walk us through. I know you said it was, named after your nieces, which is that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So just like walk us through the process of like making that album and like what it took to release that and just the overall process.
Yeah. So my oldest niece Chase was
Mhm.
born in 2008.
Yeah.
I found out she was coming on my 17th birthday in 2000.
Nice.
I was in the car with my
Nice.
sister and her boyfriend, and they was like, he said it. He was like, "Did you tell Kenny?" And she was like, "No, not yet." And so he spelled it.
Yeah.
But when I turned 17, that was my gift. Like I was having a
Wow,
niece.
That's
So
crazy.
Chase is the oldest, and Chance was born in 2014.
Okay.
Beautiful people. They beautiful people.
Yeah.
You know, they physically are beautiful because my sister was beautiful.
Yeah.
And internally they are beautiful because my sister was internally
Absolutely.
beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
And so I was thinking about it. I was like, well, this is my first album, and what really says what I'm saying? Because what I'm saying is I'm just out here pursuing. And I was like, about Chase Chance. And I sent it to my sister in the text. She was like, beautiful title. like flat out. That was it.
Yeah.
And so that was like 2000 I want to say 18 when we settled on the title, because it took we started recording that project in September 2020, and we
Wow.
didn't finish recording that project until I think the last pieces that were recorded were early 2022, and so it took
That's crazy.
a
No,
long
like
time.
literally, like they had to be born for even.
They had to
like
be born.
choose the name for the.
Yeah, like
the
Don't Give Up.
album.
I didn't
Yeah,
write it until
yeah.
April of 2020,
Wow.
so it was like because it came out of the pandemic, like so
Right.
it was like the other songs I wrote 2014.
That's crazy.
Summertime was 2014. Getting Out of Here.
Oh
2014.
my gosh, that's
Marlo song
crazy.
2015, and Give Me Your Love 2014, 15.
That's
And I'm like picturing the
crazy.
girls that I was talking about, and I was dating them around then.
like, shit.
Like for real,
That's
that's what it
okay.
is. Like, cause it's real. It's my real life. These
I
are real
feel,
people.
No, real
Yeah.
shit. I feel it. I feel it.
And Marlo is a real person. She
Yeah.
came to my release show. She's my friend now. I love her. But yeah, it's like that's how it was born. It was born out of my actual life experiences, and that's how I like to keep it.
Yeah.
Because then if you ask me about this in 40 years, I don't got to think about what the answer
At
should
all,
be.
man.
It's the truth, you know. But yeah, that's my baby, man. I got another album that I'm working on. Well, I just finished recording, not the Christmas project, another one. So it's like that's
Okay.
coming out next year. It's a soul album, 1965.
Talk about the Christmas project a little bit though.
Yeah, December 11th, a very Kenny Christmas. That's what I called it.
And like, bro, like even like when I listened to Chasing Chance, I was like, it just sounded like it gave me like a holiday feel. And like when I saw that like you were dropping a Christmas joint
Yeah.
on your IG, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this is exactly what I
appreciate that.
need. Exactly what I
Yeah.
need from you, man. So now I'll definitely speak on that.
Yes, it's coming, man. It's 4 songs.
Okay.
One of them I tell you is Big Tree, which I already released last year.
Okay.
But it's been a little revamp. Shout out to Benji. Benji wrote the music for my song Big Tree.
Wow,
So
okay,
he
dope.
played all the instruments that you hear. That's Benji playing organ.
Okay.
That's him playing bass. That's him
Wow.
playing percussion. Multifaceted musician. But
Yeah,
you know that.
yeah.
Like in the world will soon know.
Yeah.
And so that song is on there, and then 3 new ones that I wrote. One of them I wrote a few years back, and I was like, I literally write in my voice notes first. Like I be walking down
Okay.
the street, and I'm like, I hear a melody, put it in your voice notes. So I save them under titles that I can go back to. So I type Christmas in my voice notes. Every voice note that I have of that theme popped up. So this album, this little EP is only 4 songs written over the course of like 6 years, and yeah, man, it's done. I'm excited, man.
Dog, I
I'm
cannot wait to
featuring
hear
one of
that
my
shit.
voice students who's 10 years old on the project. This is her first recording, and a lot of other incredible people came alongside it. It's produced by Daniel May, who's an incredible, well-decorated musician. George Hyde III is playing drums. Denzel is
Okay.
playing bass. Like all the boys on it.
Yeah, nah, man. That sounds incredible, man. So we're winding down here, man. I just want to, thank you so much for the last pod of the year, man. For coming through, telling your story,
closer,
man.
I'm the tail dog.
The closer. Just if you
Yeah.
have anything, going on that like you want to advertise or like where they can find you on socials, man.
Yeah.
Please, let the people know, man. This is,
Yeah.
Yes, is your
Turn
floor is
this
yours.
way.
Yeah, not for sure.
Hello, guys. No, you can find. My name is Kenny Stockard. You can find me anywhere. I think more importantly, I just want to say, in this season, make sure you're loving somebody and that you're feeling loved. If you need help with anything, if you need support, reach out, find a friend, and like know that whatever you're dealing with, you're not dealing with it alone. And if you need to, turn on Chase Chance and tune into my Christmas album for a whole lot of encouragement. Yeah, go in peace.
Absolutely, man. Listen, MIC Podcast, episode 67, community content. You get it all here, man. Last episode of the year. You know what it is. We got Kenny Stockard in the building, and we are out, man. Peace, peace, peace.